Soweto, the flashpoint where white rule collided with black youth in the shacks. A place where South Africa's white minority rule collided with the defiance, courage, and unbreakable spirit of black youth living in the shacks. In this video, we dive deep into the tension, the resistance, and the human stories that turned Soweto into one of the most explosive flashpoints of the apartheid era. From student protests and language oppression to armed police raids, running battles in the streets, tear gas clouds, burning barricades, and a generation that refused to bow, this is the story the world needed to see. Discover how determined schoolchildren, mothers, activists, and an entire township rose against injustice. Learn how the Soweto Uprising ignited global outrage, inspired Nelson Mandela, and helped push apartheid toward its collapse. If you want to understand apartheid South Africa, you must understand Soweto. Soweto lived under siege. It was the explosion of a fire that had been burning quietly for years. A township under constant watch. Soweto's residents knew the sound of police dogs, the crackle of apartheid police radios, the roar of Caspian armored vehicles, the booming knock of midnight raids, the sharp commands yelled in Afrikaans. Every alley, every shack, every dusty football field could become a battleground within minutes. Police raids. Life interrupted. Under white minority rule, Soweto was treated like a territory to be controlled, not a community to be protected. Night after night, police would kick down doors, searching for agitators, drag young men from their beds for questioning, beat residents who couldn't produce passbooks, tear apart shacks looking for subversive material, fire warning shots just to make their presence known. Mothers slept lightly, waiting for the sound of boots. Children grew up knowing the difference between rubber bullets and live rounds. Daily confrontations. Confrontations were common. Students protested overcrowded classrooms and inferior schools. Workers marched for fair wages and humane housing. Community leaders demanded running water, electricity, dignity. Every demonstration was met with the same state response: tear gas, batons, arrests, rubber bullets, and sometimes live ammunition. Stones flew back at police trucks as a message: we won't be quiet. The 1980s, when Soweto boiled again. By the mid-1980s, apartheid was cracking, and Soweto became an open challenge to the state. During this period, mass boycotts erupted. Schools, buses, shops, you name it. Youths formed self-defense units. Police stations were attacked. Neighborhoods set up roadblocks to keep police out. Funerals for activists became mass rallies and political gatherings. Helicopters circled over the township, dropping tear gas. Soweto turned into a political furnace. You could feel the heat on every street. The Caspian versus the youth. Nothing symbolized the clash more than this image: a Caspian armored vehicle rolling through a dusty street, facing a wall of black schoolchildren armed with stones and determination. One side had guns, vehicles, and laws. The other had courage, unity, and desperation. And sometimes courage was stronger, the endless struggle. The clashes didn't end with the release of tear gas. They continued in classrooms where teachers refused apartheid textbooks, churches where activists hid from police, taxi ranks where workers planned strikes, shacks where families whispered strategies late into the night. Every part of Soweto became a front line, a township that would not break, despite the raid, despite the bullets, despite the fear. Soweto refused to bow. It stood, fought, marched, resisted, until the apartheid government could no longer pretend to control it. This was more than a political fight. Of all the places that stood firm against South Africa's white minority rule, Soweto remained the beating heart of resistance. It had all the hallmarks of a community pushed to the edge: deep poverty, overcrowded shacks, neglected streets, and a vibrant, fearless youth who refused to accept a life without dignity. When the people of Soweto had nothing else, they still demanded freedom. And to claim that freedom, they were prepared to struggle for it, even at the cost of their own lives. They fought relentlessly, day and night, through rain, fear, intimidation, and violence. Their courage turned the township into a symbol of defiance, a place where oppression was challenged at every corner. In the end, it was this unwavering resilience that forced the apartheid government to bend. And when South Africa finally became free, the world remembered that Soweto had carried the torch, lighting the path toward liberation for an entire nation. Please share and subscribe.